I was hoping you got to talk to Crystal, but
Yeah.
Crystal's more kind of like your wife. She's kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's do a podcast.
Let's do some magic. Make a little magic.
That's the fire, that's the sounds. Moonshine through the clouds, saddle up, 'cause there's no stopping me now.
Here we are. We're here.
Yep. Welcome to another
Ready?
episode.
Another episode of what?
Living Well Together.
Big life in our tiny little town. our tiny little town.
Who are we here with today, babe?
Well, this is serendipitous, and part of this lets me know that our podcast is kind of doing what we wanted it to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I met Ryan Arnett by way of one of our other podcast guests who owns an auto body, not an auto body, but an automotive shop. And I said, hey, here's what I need. And she said, I've got your guy. Turns out she was right. This is my guy, Ryan Arnett. What's the name of your business, Ryan?
Arnetts Way Paint and Body.
Arnetts Way Paint and Body.
Yes.
And but
And he's the owner of that.
he's not just the owner. He's the CEO. He's the CFO. He is the guy who sweeps the shop. He's the guy who
I
sprays
clean the
paint.
toilets. I do it all.
Right. Every little single bit of it. But you haven't always done that. That's not always been your gig. You're kind of new in this gig.
I grew up in this gig watching my dad and my uncle. I originally grew up in the towing world. All my life, I rode in a car seat back in the 80s with my dad.
Car seat in the tow truck?
In the tow truck.
Oh, wow.
So while dad was shuffling jobs of the sheriff's department and the towing world, he would pick me up so I got time with him. So I rode in the car seat while we ran record calls. So when I turned 12 years old, he's like, here's keys to the truck, you go move those cars. And that's how I started. That's how I learned how to drive.
Yep.
For real 12?
For 12 years old. I
If you
mean,
can reach the pedals, you can drive.
exactly. I put the seat
100%.
up and pushed the clutch in. That's how I got to learn how to drive a stick. I had my first wreck in a tow truck at 12 years old. I tore the garage door down the shop because that boom up too high. But no, seriously, I mean, that dad, he had trust in me. I mean, he bought his own business in 1990, which was Mormons Towing in Xenia.
Wait, you were towing Mormons?
Babe.
Yeah. But yeah, he bought that in 1990 from the original owner, Bob Mormon. I was only 9 years old at the time, so not much for a 9-year-old to do to watch his dad do body work. So I'd lay on the concrete floor with a shop blanket and play with my Hot Wheels and go over with the dozer, the little Hot Wheel dozer, and scoop up the Bondo dust and the popper bit clippings and put them in my dump truck. And that's what I did when I was 9 years old. So that's kind of how I watched him. And then slowly he's like, well, here, come over here and sand this or take this apart for me. And he'd watch me. So at 9 or 10 years old, I'm learning stuff that people are learning when they're 20,
Or they're going to career
later.
career
They're going to
tech
school,
center or whatever. Yeah, for sure.
So at a very young age, I learned work ethic, discipline, how to manage my money. I mean, stuff like that. A lot of kids these days, they don't really have that backbone to show them how to go work.
Why do you think that is?
I think the parents or the families have gotten overwhelmed with trying to provide for their family, and they forgot to focus on the kids and show the kids the way of life.
We're at least one generation into that, maybe two. I agree with you.
There is kids out there that want to learn, but they don't know how to ask.
Yep.
They're scared to ask. They'd rather sit on the couch and be in the corner and do this on a phone versus, hey, can you show me how to mow the grass? Can you show me how to wash a car?
Yep.
Her son, he's starting to learn a little bit. He comes out and squeegees the shop floor, takes the trash out. We're showing him little things to get him going.
I love this so much. Instead of just calling her, let's figure out who this
introduce her,
is.
yeah.
So because you're kind of not just the CEO, CFO dude of the day, you're also a newlywed.
I ain't married.
Yeah, we ain't married.
I ain't married. There's no rings on my finger. I ain't married.
So you're newly connected.
Yes, newly connected.
Dadgum
Newly
Facebook.
reconnected.
Yeah,
we
reconnected.
rekindled the fire. Let's put
And
that.
this is Danielle.
This is Danielle.
You're, what do we call her then?
The other half,
She
the
is
painted
my free
friend.
labor in the shop.
Oh,
gosh.
She's the beauty and the brains of the outfit.
There you go. That sounds
You're
so
the
much better.
muscle. You're the hired muscle. She's the beauty and the
She's
brains.
my parts go-getter. She makes me sandwiches, and she makes sure I'm not dying in the shop.
Well, which is all good. But Danielle, also, you just let us know before we kind of push the button. What do you do when you're not working in the shop and you're working outside the home?
I drive 18-wheelers.
She's a big rig operator. Yeah. So don't be fooled by, her demure appearance.
Yeah, don't be fooled by the stigma.
She's actually getting stuff done.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we kind of have a hometown connection too. We both are recently or semi-recently from the same community of Chillicothe, Ohio.
Yeah.
So
And did you guys figure out where you were in relationship to where you grew up and to where you grew up?
you're down close to the
Chillicothe?
paper mill. I was up on the hill, on
Okay.
Bellevue Hill. That was our neighborhood. The Hilltoppers is what they called us back in the day.
Hilltoppers?
Yes, yes.
It's pretty up on that hill.
Oh, it's
I was
beautiful.
stuck down in the bottom little valley.
Yeah.
Really off topic. Is the paper mill still going?
Yes, for
It
now.
is.
For now.
Because there was a rumor that it was closing, right?
They were going to close it, and they actually, I think either the state or the city pulled the plug on that one because it was going to put so many families
Yeah.
and people rely on that mill. That town
Your state
runs straight
senator,
off
the
that
state
mill.
senator over there
in
went to
Kenworth.
bat and he
That's
said,
right.
"Hey, this
Yeah.
is going to bang the
800,
community."
800 jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
800 jobs.
So
That's
for
a lot.
whatever reason, sometimes who you know matters.
That's correct.
But our state senator in that neighborhood said, "Hey, let's rethink that."
Yeah, that town pretty much runs off of Kenworth and that mill. That's
And my
what
dad
keeps
was a
a lot
Kenworth
of
guy.
families
So
going.
that's what I loved when I met Ryan. My brother and my dad both worked at Kenworth, and so lots of overflow, lots of similarity, and lots of connection. My dad sprayed paint at Kenworth. My brother was there for 20 years. So just a lot of good overlap. And I knew when I met you, Dusty was right. She's like, "Here's your guy." And I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. That's my guy."
That's good.
So
you
I
had
needed
a
some
brother
work
named
done.
Tim too?
My dad's uncle or my dad's brother.
Your dad's brother.
Yeah, my dad's brother.
You got Uncle Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My kid's got an Uncle Tim.
My dad and my uncle both passed the same year within 6 months of each other.
Oh,
So,
Isn't that right?
yeah. Yeah. Well, I learned a lot from my uncle. He had, don't get me wrong, he worked for my dad too, driving truck, plus in the body shop. I learned a lot from him, just like I did with my dad. My uncle, he also taught me how to do a little bit of detailing. So, so I'd go to his house and he'd show me how to buff. And so, I mean, as I was growing up, I was learning things that I use every day now from different people. So I
that so
consider
much.
I consider my uncle as part of my dad too, in a way, because I mean they were two brothers, but they were two different people altogether.
Okay.
So
And they had a best friend named
Mike.
Polly.
Mike passed away just a few years ago, but small world. His son and I, we kind of grew up together. He's a little older than I am, about 5 years older than I am, but he comes and helps me
wow.
now, just like my dad and Mike helped each other. So
My dad had a body shop out in our garage. I have wet sanded, I have buffed, I have bondoed, I have swept, I have sprayed, I have like everything you're doing in your shop, I am very familiar with. And so I knew when I found him, I knew this was my guy to get. I got an old truck that needed some help, and I could not find anybody to do it. I called all the reputable upscale fix-it guys,
all the
and
little
everybody said
big
no.
shops don't want to do it.
No, they said no.
And it wouldn't have been as nice as what you did anyways.
Well, it would have, but you wouldn't have got it back within the week or 2 week time period. That's what my main focus is try to get the job in and get the job out. I kind of got different hours, like normal people got Monday through Friday work schedules. I do like Friday night to Tuesday or Wednesday work schedule. So I work the weekends.
Right.
So I get a lot of commercial accounts that come into me and say, "Hey, I need this truck painted." Okay, we'll drop it off next Friday at 4 o'clock or 3 o'clock. The sooner you get to me, the sooner I can get started on it. You can have it back Sunday night or Monday morning, and your driver's not without his truck.
Amen. And we'll
Wow,
we'll
that's
get some
amazing.
pictures. We'll get actually some photographs of your work, and they'll be on the website, or we'll get links, and there'll be pictures in the podcast. But one of the things that, again, when you and I first connected, I couldn't find somebody to paint the whole truck. And then what I realized is I don't need the whole truck painted. I needed the parts that had been damaged. And you were like, "Well, okay, let's do this, 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 and this." So there was room for negotiation.
I gave
there
you
was
options,
room,
yes.
and, well,
options. It was
but I didn't want you to compromise the integrity of your work, which you would not have done.
No.
Right.
And gave me a great option. And it worked out so beautifully. It's just so beautifully. So yeah, no, I'm thrilled, and we're glad to be able to help people understand. Here's how this can go. Have you seen a change in the way people take care of their existing vehicle? In the last, let's say, 5 years, do people do things? Because it used to be you just go get another car. If your car was dinged up,
Yes, I see higher mileage vehicles, people getting them fixed. I see more detail shops popping up because people want to prolong their vehicle.
Yep.
Instead, like you just said, like within 5 years, you're trading. People are going 10 or 15 years. You know, so I have seen a lot of things like that going on, or people come in, hey, can you fix this? Like for instance, your vehicle, like, can you fix this spot? I don't want to do the whole car, just fix this spot because it's bothering me. Yeah, I can fix it. Where a lot of shops are like, well, it needs to be this, 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 and this.
Yes.
And I'll focus on just that one spot because that's just what I do.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Mine wasn't collision damage. Mine was a poor job that had been done before you.
That's
got a hold of
correct.
It wasn't collision damage, and it's a 25-year-old vehicle. I mean, it's not a new. It's like could be in the Smithsonian, but it looks like
yet.
it just rolled off the showroom floor.
It doesn't.
Yeah,
look
you had two bad things going for you. You had poor workmanship, plus you had the what we call in the body shop world D-Lam on white and blue are the main colors. GM and Ford. The E-coat just didn't adhere to that paint, and it started flaking. D-Lam. A lot of people are like, well, it's bad primer. No, it was the E-coat that they put on the steel before they started painting it. It didn't adhere. That paint didn't adhere to that.
Right.
So you had two bad things going to, which was double the trouble for me, because not only do I have to fix somebody else's poor workmanship that they thought was good.
Yes.
I've also got to strip it down to bare metal.
Yep.
And find the poor
We'll
workmanship.
put the pictures up. That paint was coming off in sheets. I found big sheets of trash in my driveway. I did not know what it was. And then once I was elevated above, I could see the very top. It's a tall vehicle. I could see the top of the vehicle, and it was rusting. And so then what I realized was the paint was coming off in sheets. I mean, it was terrible. And I took it 3 different places, and they were like, nah, can't do it, can't help you. And then I'm out here, and he's like, it's going to be some work, but I think I can get it done. It looks like it just rolled off the showroom 25 years ago. It's gorgeous.
Well, so let's go back a little bit to Ryan. So you, at 12 years old, you are driving the tow trucks in your yard,
making money.
And then at 16, it kind of evolved.
Dad threw me in a truck.
Okay.
I was still in high school. I went to Tecumseh High School in New Carlisle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I was born right up the road here, literally. Born and raised New Carlisle area. 16 years old, he's like, after school, you come work for me.
Yeah.
I'll give you a paycheck for your time. You can work as long as you can. So I was going to school, get out at 2:30, go over, get in my truck, clock in. I'm running calls till 9, 10 o'clock at night, go home, go to bed, go right back to school. I was doing that 5-6 days a week, plus whatever else Dad wanted to do on the weekends, whether it be yard work or.
No wonder why you needed to learn how to manage your money.
He pulled me in the office one day. I was probably 17, 18 years old. He pulled me in the office. He goes, hey, my checkbook's off. I said, okay, why? He goes, well, you ain't cashed any of these checks. Well, I didn't know nothing about banking. I just paycheck, and I need some money. I go cash it. I kept the paychecks in my wallet. So I opened my wallet up. I had 6 paychecks in there. He goes, no, we're going to go open a checking account. Come on, let's go.
Danielle, is he better at that now?
Yes, he's
Thank you.
way better.
Whose fault is it that he's better at it?
Actually, when we got together, he had a routine every Sunday night. He would sit at the table and he would get out his checkbook and he would get all of his bills. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, I had not seen, you never see people do that.
This is Amish.
And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I got to write up my bills and I got to balance my checkbook. And he'd have a stack of receipts. He would have all of his bills and he would sit there at the table for a good 30 minutes to an hour. And he would literally just go through all of it.
Old school.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's amazing.
And now,
I love that.
with the help of her and my banking associate over in Xenia, they've got me into the electronic stuff now. So now I just take the receipts home and throw them on the desk.
Yep.
Because it's a business desk.
Yeah.
And I go right back to work, and then once a month I'll sit down and tally all that.
You're no longer Amish.
Yeah. I'm old school. I really am.
But Ryan, one of the things that really stood out to me in your notes is that you're saying how you were running calls, but you really saw it as helping and saving lives.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and my dad, we've saved quite a few lives over the years. One, I used to help put on a training seminar for the fire departments. It's called cross training. I would invite all the cities or township, depends which ones didn't do it the year before. So whether it be the township fire departments or the city fire departments, I would invite all of them. Say, hey, I'm going to put on a training seminar at our lot. I set up 4 real live crashes. They always wanted a school bus. They loved school buses. So we'd set up a school bus, and I would set up 3 other crashes. And we would cross train. I'd have a wrecker out there. I'd be out there. Dad would buy pizzas from Pizza Hut. He would call them the day before, say, I got 60 firefighters coming. Hey, get us 25 pizzas or whatever, and I'll pay for them. They'd give us a discount because it was going all the way around. A couple places would donate Gatorade and water to help. And we would do cross training. Well, one incident that keeps stuck in my mind, that Saturday night, after everybody left, we had some bad winds come through, and a tree had fell across Swigert Road down in Sugar Creek Township. Gentleman was driving down there from the green, going through the back way, come around a curve and hit this tree. And his hands were stuck on the steering wheel like this. Well, when the tree hit, it broke the steering wheel and put it down in his lap. So this guy's pinned in his truck. In Sugar Creek, they tried everything. Jaw the roof, do a dash lift, try to lift the dash up. They couldn't lift the dash up because the tree was there. Every time they do, they put pressure on the steering wheel on the guy's legs. So they flew a surgeon in from Miami Valley in care flight, and they were going to amputate this young man's hands, both hands off the steering wheel.
Moly.
And
To get his hands off of the steering
to get his hands off the steering wheel so they could try to move this guy, because literally he's pinned.
Yeah.
I mean, the steering wheel's in your lap like this, and you're stuck. You know, you got a tree that's probably, this big around. Pinned him down. So the lieutenant seen the surgeon get off the helicopter, and the lieutenant of the fire department at that time's like, time out.
Yeah.
What did we learn today, guys?
Yes.
Because they were just at Mormons doing cross training.
Yes.
And we had this same scenario set up in the lot, and we used a record to pick this. Well, we had a telephone pole, but we used the same scenario.
Yes.
He goes, time out. So he calls dispatch. Has dispatch call us, which I'm on call that night. I answer the phone. She's like, hey, we got an emergency. By this time, the wreck happened at 9 or 9:30. That by the time this is 11:30 at night. It's raining.
That kid's been sitting there 2 hours
while
in a terrible situation.
Yeah, in a Ford F-150. I mean, they had this thing. I mean, the doors were jawed off of it. I mean, they literally had this truck cut. They couldn't cut no more.
But he's alive.
He's alive. He's there. They're talking to him. He's just stuck. He's literally stuck. So Sugar Creek calls, hey, we need your big wrecker. How fast can you be there? I was like, driving time. By this time, I live 4 miles or 5 miles farther than my dad did. My dad lived right off of 68, so he lived closer to town than. So I get Dad rolling. I go to the shop. I fire the truck up, his big truck. He rolls in behind me. He follows me because he don't really know that area like I did.
Sure.
We roll in, walk the scenario real quick. He backs up. I mean, me and him worked like clockwork. I mean, he knew what I was thinking. I knew what he's thinking. He's running the controls. I'm grabbing chains. Within, that call was at 11:30. By midnight or 12:05, we had to tree off the guy. That's including driving from Xenia.
Yep.
2 trucks. We're already at home. We're in bed, so that's how fast we was hustling. Over behind the green, Swigert Road.
Right.
We had the tree picked up. As he picked the tree up, I took my carrier and winched the truck back away from the tree. Fire department was able to lift the steering wheel up, get the guy's hands out, slide him out, put him on a stretcher, put him in the helicopter, and he went to Miami Valley.
Wow.
So, the fire department's like, hey, we called you, but there's another tower over there that's supposed to get that truck. Dad's like, hey, you can't put a price on life. And you can't.
Sure.
You can't put a price on life. So Dad's like, come on, boy, let's go home. So we loaded up, cleaned the trucks up, and we went home. The tearjerker of this whole story is the mother come in about 2 weeks later, and I'm sitting at the office at the desk. Everybody was at lunch, and she comes in. She goes, I need to see the owner. Well, when somebody comes in like that, your heart stops. Like, okay, what did we do wrong?
Yeah.
Something bad just happened.
Usually a lawyer.
Yeah. So I was like, can I help you with something, ma'am? She goes, well, you guys saved my son's life, and I want to see the owner. I want to thank you. So I was like, hey, Dad. So he comes out of his office. He goes, what's up? I was like, this young lady, which she wasn't young, but this young lady's here to see you. So he opens the door. He goes, what can I do for you? And she starts bawling. She goes, was you in the helping save my son? couple weeks ago on Swigert Road. And Dad goes, yeah, me and my boy both was there. And she goes, I need to pay you. Dad goes, I can't charge you. I can't put a price on your son's life. Can't do it. And she's like, well, I'm in so gratitude. You know, they were going to take his hands. And Dad goes, I know, I've seen a surgeon. I've seen everything that you're telling me there. Yeah. And I'm glad I was able to, you know, pick the tree up, get his hands out. Yeah, all his bones were broken in his hands. They bandaged them all up. You know, his legs were broke down here. So they was able to, you know, but the kid's still alive.
Sure.
And has his hand.
And, you know, that's a story that will always stick with me, you know, because you can't put a price on life. Yeah. You just can't.
Right. Service above self.
Yeah. So that was
amazing, Ryan.
That was 10 times, that will go 10 times further. And it did. I mean.
But that's ingrained in you. That's something where you're pushing dirt around or Bondo around as a 9-year-old. And you're watching how business goes, and that's just part of who you are. Yeah, that wasn't really an option. That's just part of who you are.
I watched Dad struggle, the good times, the bad times. When it was good times, we were rewarded. When it was bad times, it's like, hey, buckle down. Let's try to pinch every nickel. I mean, I mean, it's family business at that time.
Now, have you ever saved a poodle? Have you ever? I mean, give me something funny. Give me a good story that I can laugh at.
No, I've never saved any animals. I mean, you know, like I said, in the towing world, nobody wants to call you for a tow truck. They're all disappointed. But time they get in my truck, I've got them calm down.
Yep.
Hey, where are we going?
It's terrible. Yeah. It's always bad weather. It's always at night. There's always a vampire involved. I mean, there's always something bad.
There is.
Anytime you need a tow truck, it's never good.
You know,
so for you to show up, this big old bearded guy shows up and it's like, all right, is this going to be a good situation or a bad situation? And what you now know is it's pretty good situation.
Yeah. You know, if you talk to any of the people that I ever worked with over the years, they would all tell you I'm a grump when I get out of the truck. I was always a grump.
Was he?
Well, you got to start that way.
Until I get, you know, my bearings straight, get woke up, you know, get my, you know, thoughts together. Okay, how am I going to do this job? You know, and then once the job's over, I'm like you. I'm all happy-go-lucky. Hey,
I'm not happy-go-lucky. Don't kid yourself. I'm a grunt.
Yeah, the job's done. I can put my game face off. You know, we can joke around a little bit and have fun. But you know, there's a time
serious to start.
There's a time and place for everything. You know, but you know, I get calls. I still get calls today. Hey, you got a tow truck? No, I'm out of that world. Well, who do I call? And I refer them to the guys that I trust to take care of my customers. I mean, they're still calling me for services.
100%. How'd you get out? Let's transition.
Yeah, I was going to say, because this is a
we're not
important
towing
part
anymore.
of your story.
We're now auto body and other things, but primarily, because your hat does not say auto body, by the way.
No, this is my cousin's business. I had to buy his lunch.
So you're repping two businesses here?
I had to buy his lunch to get one of these fancy hats. You know, so it cost me $75 for lunch to get a nice little hat.
So you got a cousin who's got a lawn and landscape.
Yeah, lawn landscape. Yeah, his name's
More
Joel.
Arnetts, everybody. Does he have the same work ethic as you?
Yes, he does.
Well, then we're good.
His dad is just like my dad.
If
his
he's a
dad
punk,
and my dad
I'd make
were
you turn that hat around.
Second cousins. No.
For those that can't read the hat, if you're just
he
listening,
fought for so many years to get this hat. I have had to look at this hat every day since he has gotten it.
I've had it for almost a week now. Yeah, I wear it to bed. You know, I wear it to bed.
I love it.
But no, you're right. Dad passed away 7 years ago, back in March, unexpectedly. Things went south with the family. The business got sold to somebody else. I went back to work for him, just couldn't cut it because I like family.
Sure.
I don't like corporations. So I decided, hey, you know, things are going good as my hobby because I was doing like motorcycle parts and little things.
We'll get you some pictures. His work is beautiful. And I've seen tractor parts. I've seen motorcycle gas tanks.
I just did a Freightliner semi last week. I mean, I'm doing a brand new Duramax for a guy. It's actually in the shop right now.
What's a Duramax?
Chevy diesel pickup truck.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So,
well, for those other people that are listening, it's important to know. That's when you have a
brand new Chevy truck. It's a 2024.
All I know is it's pretty and they're on vacation. And if it disappears, I'm very sorry. I'll replace your gas, but I just want to drive it.
You're telling on yourself right now.
It's okay. It'll still be there. I promise.
It may have more miles on it than it did when you dropped it off.
Yeah, but no, I had to leave the corporation world. I couldn't cut it. It just wasn't my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So I started
profit over people.
Yeah.
That was profit over people.
Yeah. And I like the family aspect. And so I started my own business. Of course, my business kind of already was started. I just had to put a name to it. I had clientele that was coming to me, you know, especially in the wintertime, everybody wants their trucks done up or the motorcycle parts. That's my busy times in wintertime.
Is that right?
Yeah, it really is. I mean, from about November to about April, and it's usually crunch time into March, 1st of April, because everybody's like, oh, that stuff's been sitting in the corner all winter. I need it done now, you know.
Sure.
And don't get me wrong, that's my cup of tea. I can knock it out.
You chew on that like candy.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. They pay a little premium price because they waited.
No shame.
But you know, I'm staying about 2 weeks out on my own business per se. But I had to do something because I wasn't happy with where I was at.
Right. And so here's what I know. Here's what I can turn into revenue. And here's who I can attract to get it done.
Yes. And that's why.
How'd you start advertising? How'd you start marketing Arnetts Way?
I started a Facebook page. I got some followers on it. Not much. I don't really push it because all mine is really word of mouth.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's how we found you.
People start finding out, hey, Ryan went out on his own. This is what he's doing. He's got his dad's work ethic. He's got his dad's eyes. You know, he don't cut no corners. If it's not right, I mean, there's been jobs I've redone.
Yeah.
I've painted them and like.
I saw you. So you posted something about fisheye the other day.
Oh yeah.
And 90% of the world would not have known what you're talking about.
Yeah. Basically like Armor All, silicone, and paint don't mix.
Okay.
So if it's floating in the air and you start painting, it makes like fish eyes. I mean,
looks like a bubble.
Yeah. And it's like, you might as well stop, let it dry, walk away.
Oh, wow.
And that's what I did. It fish eyed on me and I just threw my hands up and just went in the house, POS'd and just she knew I was mad. I went and sat on the couch. The dog come over, left me, you know, next to me and was like, Dad, what's wrong? Aww. I sat there for a couple hours just stewing because that stuff floats in the air. So as soon as I turned the exhaust fan on,
bugs, dust, plants. I mean, you can ruin a paint job in a second.
So do you have a special equipment though to prevent that mostly?
You can add fisheye eliminator to eliminate that problem, but it kind of makes the paint jobs look a little more grainier or per se.
Is that something that goes into the paint itself?
You put it in the clear or the paint and to eliminate that. I don't really like using it because I like slick paint jobs per se. So when that happens, I just walk away.
Yeah.
Just let it dry, just walk away, come back out, sand it the next day, take the loss, reshoot it. Whatever's in the air is most likely already gone, airborne, whatever.
How can you assure that it's not in the air? Is it just a risk that you take every time you
try
paint?
Try again. Yeah. I mean, I've only it happened big time. That's the first time in 12 years it's really. Got.
Do you know what it cost it?
I have my ideas.
Coors Light.
No, I mean, it could be as simple as me going out and spraying the yard with 2,4-D to kill dandelions.
Okay.
I mean, that stuff could be floating in the air. And it could just, if there's not a breeze to keep that blowing, it could be just sitting there dormant, you know, on the plant. As soon as I turn my exhaust fan on and crack my door, that stuff's coming right in and it sucks it right across.
There is a science to what you're doing.
Yeah.
There is a science. Tell us the Barrett Jackson story.
So, back in the day, I was married at one time. I had a brother-in-law who painted hot rods and stuff during the day.
For those that don't know, what is Barrett Jackson? Tell us that first.
It's a worldwide car show. $1 million cars go across the block.
You can turn on the TV and it's on one of your streaming services. There's a Barrett Jackson auction.
Channel 281 on DirecTV usually.
There you go.
Okay.
But these are $1 million cars rolling through an auction site where people who have more money than they know what to do with spend it on cars that they don't drive.
Yes. So
I mean, it's wild.
So my I call my ex-brother-in-law, who actually works for Joel.
Arnett Lawn Landscape.
His name's Jimmy. He had his connections on stuff like that. He'd been to the Barrett Jackson World a couple times, stuff like that. We did matching numbers 70s. Was that a Nova? No, that's Chevelle with a matching 454 4-speed, all matching car, forest green, white racing stripes, beautiful. I mean, this car is beautiful. I wouldn't have did anything to it, but the guy wanted to freshen it up. So he paid us to freshen it up. we charged him $4 or $5 grand to freshen it up. Back that day, paint was cheap, material was down. A couple weeks, me and him knocked it out in the evenings and stuff. He comes, loads it up, takes it. He said, I'm going to take it to Barrett Jackson next weekend. I'm like, okay. So I'm sitting at home.
This is Vegas or?
No, Indianapolis.
Because they move around.
And I see the car coming across the block on Barrett Jackson. I'm like, that car looks familiar. So we just painted last weekend. Okay. You go 10, 20, 30, 40.
Oh my
And my eyes are getting this big. I'm like, I think that car ended up going for like 102 or 107,000, I think. And I'm sitting there like calling Jimmy up like, we didn't charge enough,
And that Chevelle off the showroom floor, brand new in the day, would have been probably $5 grand. It was the 70s.
Yeah, it was an SS 454 4-speed. I mean, it was.
Brand new. It was not $10,000.
It had every bell and whistle on. I mean, still had the mags on it and stuff. I mean, you couldn't tell anything was ever done to that car other than the rear wheel well where they trimmed it. That car had been its drag strip all its life, so they trimmed the inner wheel well so they could put a fatter tire in it so it wouldn't cut it, but it never been tubbed.
Okay.
So it'd been drag stripped all its life, but it was still all matching numbers. It was a beautiful car.
Yeah. Have you ever
What
done any
color?
drag racing?
Forest green.
Forest green. And was it forest green and then you painted it forest green
It was
again?
all, it was all
Okay,
original.
it was
So
all
we
the
didn't have to
same.
jam nothing in. We
Wow.
didn't change
Yeah.
the color. We had to put the racing stripes back on. We painted the racing stripes on it and cleared over top of them so
Yeah.
they were nice and smooth like the table.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Jimmy did a phenomenal job on it. He really did. I mean,
Yeah.
that was one that fish-eyed on us when we was painting it because at that time I only had 2 garages. You see my 3 now. But
Yep.
I was over in the other garage detailing a truck that he had to detail for a guy. So he said, you go detail that truck, I'll go spray this car. Well, I'm detailing the truck. He turns the exhaust fan on. All that solvent went right through the door
shoot.
and over the car, and it fish-eyed. I heard him say every word in the book. I'm like, what did I do? What did I do? He wasn't mad at me. He was mad at himself
The situation.
because he had me detail the truck, and so we had to resand it, clean it all back.
Everybody, the average person, though, just wants a car to look nice in a certain color. Most people don't have any idea or any concept over what goes into making it happen.
That's correct.
Like, we're all ignorant. We're just ignorant about different things. But when you look at the science and the meticulousness behind what you're doing, and not everybody does it the way you do it. I mean, you can get a mediocre job. If I say Earl Scheib, do you know who I am?
Yes, I do.
Yes. And if I say Mako.
Yes, I do.
Right. So you can get a mediocre colorization anywhere, but you can't get quality work everywhere.
Dad used to help his customers out back in the day, and Jimmy was one of them because he was 16 years old. He had a little Cavalier. He wanted like a Bahama blue. And so Dad's like, well, I'll sand it. He goes, take it to Mako. They have a
Right.
295 special going on,
Right.
and have them shoot it blue and then bring it back. We'll put it all back together. So we did all the labor, sanded it, got all ready. Mako said, well, we still got to resand it.
Sure.
Well, that's fine, but we knew it was sanded. So then they painted the Bahama blue. Cavalier come back. We put it all back together, put some mag wheels on it, and Jimmy drove that through high school.
Is that right?
I mean, just
Is there still a Mako in existence?
yes,
right
over
here?
Yes.
on Needmore Road. Yes,
Okay.
yes,
2 doors down from my job.
yes.
Oh, is
I
that
pass
right?
it every day. I'm like,
Okay.
and I see people outside. I'm like, man, I feel bad for y'all.
Well, but they're getting what they pay for, though.
They're getting what
Yeah.
they pay for.
100%. And they'll, there's Walmart to shop at. There's Penny's to shop at. There's Neiman Marcus to shop at.
I told you when you come to me, I was like, we can do it for this price, or we can do it for this price.
Yeah.
What do you want, Doc? I mean,
Right. And that's
Loved having
what makes the world go round.
And you're just like, well, if you can keep it in these parameters, I'm good with it. And I was
Yeah.
like, well, I can probably work with that.
It worked out so good. And this is going to be a fun episode. You're going to need to hire some people after this episode. You're going to need some
No.
help.
Well, one of your friends reached out to me, and I did a van for him. He's an electrician or something. I did a van for him. He had the same problem going on his van that you had on your big thing.
John.
I
Dadgummit.
can't think of his last name. Him and his wife.
Yes.
John
yeah,
Kopic.
yeah. Him and his wife come
Hey,
over.
Scarlett. Hey, John.
And he's like, what can you do? And I kind of did the same thing for them. I ended up
Yeah.
having to paint both sides because I couldn't get it to do what I wanted
Yeah.
to do. But I mean, we knew that going into it.
You know, my dad used to say, you can't see both sides at the same time.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah. If this one looks really good and that one looks really good, that's awesome. They don't have to match. They look good. You
Yeah.
can't see them both at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's the most popular color?
Red.
Red?
I got more red paint in my cabinet than I can shake a stick at, but red is probably the most expensive paint out there.
Is it really?
Yes.
But there's a lot of different shades of red too.
There
right?
is a lot of different.
Oh,
shades of red.
100.
Do people come to you with like when I'm picking out paint for the walls? Do they bring you a color chip?
What I usually do is like if you want me to do the job and I'm going to paint some parts or paint accessories on it, I would pull the gas door.
Okay.
Because the gas door usually don't get no sun. And then I'll pull the gas door, I'll polish out, and I'll send it down to my paint guys.
Okay.
And they will take a camera, just like your phone or whatever, take a camera and snap a picture of it. And that camera will tell them 3 different formulas, and then they'll mix the formula up and see what's closest, and then they'll mix as much as I want.
Okay. And so that's if they're painting it the same color?
Yes.
Okay. And then, but if they want a different color, do you
They
do
want different
that?
color. We get paint chips like you can get at Sherwin-Williams store.
Okay.
And I actually had a customer call me this morning, and I told him I bring paint chips out because he wants a certain blue, and we'll just throw the blues out there and hold a bright light over it and see what tickles his fancy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you ever painted a pink car?
No.
Purple?
Not yet.
Are you going to get a purple car?
So you
I see
probably
one in your
seen it.
future.
You probably seen it when you were there. That Camaro that's sitting beside the garage. That's mine. You think it's black? Okay, you think it's black. That is actually purple.
Depending on how the
Yes.
light hits it.
So this one has gotten multiple people. Our Amazon guy, this last week, our tree guy, multiple people have been like, hey, if you sell me that Camaro, or hey, will you sell me that Camaro? He's like, I would like to keep my body intact. If that comes up missing, she will gut me. I will not. I might as well just hide and go with
What
you.
year is it?
It's a 91. My
Okay.
stepdad built that for
wow.
my stepbrother
IROC Z.
back in. He built that with my stepbrother when he was 16. That was
Okay.
his pride and joy.
It's the rare color called black cherry.
Yes.
Yeah.
With the IROC stripes hidden in it. It's a rare color that GM only offered it a couple years.
Yeah, that was my stepdaddy's pride and joy. So I
Yeah.
kind of scooped that up before it got torn apart, and I refused to part with it.
Do you still drive it?
Yes, I do.
So when you're not driving big rigs, that's what you're driving?
Sometimes. That's
Is
my
it, is
toy.
it your daily?
That's your toy.
No, that sucker's
What's
got
your daily?
355 in it.
Oh,
Gas hog.
I was
Yeah.
going to say you're getting 8 miles to the gallon.
No, I drive a lifted Chevy pickup.
Okay. And your daily's a pickup as well.
No, actually, I could drive a little black Ford Escape
Oh.
as a gas saver, a 30
Well,
mile
that
gas.
makes perfect sense for a guy
The
like
truck
you.
stays in the garage.
See, I wasn't smart like him. I drive the
that
big
would
block
not
back and forth.
yeah, I would not that was
Yeah.
not my vision there.
A truck stays in the garage. I bought a little Ford Escape about a year ago from Jeff Schmidt because I wanted to keep the mileage up.
Okay.
You know, that truck, you normally gets 12. It don't get about 8 now because I did some things to it. But so I bought a little Escape to drive around in. So I'm incognito, so nobody knows.
That's so
knows.
smart.
So you don't have Arnetts Way bumper stickers?
No,
landscape,
no.
nothing.
Everybody knows that truck. So I don't,
The truck out in the parking lot right
yeah,
now?
I don't
Okay.
drive it. It
Okay.
stays in the garage.
All right, let's talk about first dates. When do y'all, what was your first date, the two of you? Let's get a little bit of
Okay,
that.
so our first date.
Well, who asked who? He asked you out? You
No,
asked him
so
out?
the way it went was he was towing cars for me out of my job's parking lot.
She was a manager up at a convenience store.
Yeah. And so he was towing cars for me, and he kept showing up. And then he decided to talk to me. Well, he found out that he knew my uncle. So what he did was he went through Facebook, and he didn't know my
Did a
last name.
little
He went
homework.
through my
Oh my
uncle's
God.
friends
So,
and
like,
found
creeper
me.
stalker style? Okay.
Yeah.
And he started messaging me, and I was like, "Who is this guy?" At first, and it took me a second. I'm like, "Oh wait, that's my tow
I
guy."
have my ways.
So
I have my ways.
So-
Magical ways.
So we started talking. Well, I happened to be in Columbus for work training. And we were talking, and he was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I was like, "Oh, I'm just hanging out, bored, like just chilling." I was talking to another girl, but she went to bed, and I was like, "I'm just hanging out." And he's like, "Well, where are you at?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm like, dude, what? Like, this kind of like weird. Like, I don't know you that well." And I was like, earlier that day, I said, "Well, I had Frisch's. Went over next, like, walked across the parking lot, went to Frisch's for like lunch or dinner or whatever." This man, he's like, "Well, I'm gonna come see you," and I'm like, "No, you're not." And he sends me a picture, like, like sitting in his truck, like facing out of the garage, and I'm like,
We're
"You
not
so
putting that
are
picture
full
on.
of it." And I don't even have that picture no more. But then, like, he's like, "No, I'm being for real," and he sends me a picture of him driving down the road, and I'm like, "No, you're just like going to the store at a gas station, like you were pulling my leg." Next thing you know, like we're sitting there talking on the phone, and an hour later, he's like, "Oh, I'm sitting outside." And I was
He's
like, "No, you're
rolling up.
not." And I looked out the window, and he's literally sitting in his truck in the parking lot. And that night, we literally standed outside this hotel. I can still tell you what he was wearing. For probably 2 or 3 hours, just laughing, giggling,
Did
just
you wear
talking.
cologne? Does he wear cologne?
Yeah.
Does he have an aroma?
No, his cologne was Gain. Like, I literally was like, "You
Gain.
smell so good." And he was
right.
like,
He's
"It's
clean.
green Gain." And I was
Yep.
like, "What?" And he was like, "My
Yep.
laundry soap."
I love
but
it.
It was like this cute little joke between
Not
us
Polo.
forever. No, it's like this cute little joke between us forever. I mean, forever and ever. Like, I even bought him scent beads as like
But you like a man who cleans up.
Yeah,
for sure.
And like, you know, we literally we stood there and talked. And I was like, "Dude, you got," like, it was midnight by the time we were done. I'm like, "Man, you got to be at work at 6 a.m. I was like, "Well, why don't you just stay?" And like, he was a complete gentleman. He slept on top of the blankets, kept his hands to himself, stayed fully clothed. And I got up that morning and he was gone. He texted me. He said, "You know, I had a great night. Like, we'll have to get together again soon." And, you know,
talk
it was
some more?
Yeah. And it just kind of took off from there.
I got
heart flutter?
goosebumps. You kids.
Huh?
Did your heart flutter?
I don't like being talked about me. Told you I'm bachelor.
Yeah. Okay. What a romantic story.
That's how it started.
Yeah.
Like I said, we kept it silent for about a year.
Because of the uncle?
No, because of
it
it was just things. Just
It was best.
it was
Yeah.
Because
best.
it was best.
Okay.
It was best.
You got a shop dog?
Yes, Tori, the one you seen. Is
I met that shop dog. I've never been in a shop that didn't have a dog. In fact, if I were getting work done, I don't go to a shop. I don't trust a shop that doesn't have a dog.
Yeah, she's my shop dog. I mean, now that we got the new one, we got a new puppy. She kind of stays in with the puppy and plays with the puppy or whatever, and kind of stays. But before we had the puppy, she would always go out and shop with me. But she'd go lay on the corner in the sawdust or the Bondo dust. She'd go. I mean, she's black, so.
Does she ever
Oh
give
my
you
gosh.
like a hint on who's a good customer, who's a bad customer? Does she like say, "Here's a person who I can hang with," or "Here's a person you should say no to"?
No, she treats everybody the same.
Okay.
Loves
She
them
don't.
all.
She
Because
don't.
I felt
she don't
special.
judge.
I thought I was special.
she
Apparently,
doesn't
I'm
judge.
not.
No, she'll bark and she does what she needs to do.
She gave me the sniff. She gave me the once up and once down.
And then usually I snap my fingers and like, "Hey, it's good," and she'll just kind of come over and sit beside me. She's a good dog. She really is.
That's amazing. One of the things that you mentioned is you're not a big fan of insurance work.
No,
You want to talk about that a little
I hate
bit?
insurance companies.
Okay, tell us more.
Well, we don't hate them.
I do.
We just don't wish them on anybody.
I hate insurance companies with a passion. I watched my dad struggle so many times fighting over piddly money that should be paid.
yes.
But they have no problem canceling our policies because we didn't pay them on time.
Right.
So I'm not the only shop out there that hates insurance companies. That they all fight them. I do a little bit of insurance work here and there.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you.
For, if the people already have the estimate and the check, that way I don't have to deal with the insurance company because I don't like writing the estimates. I
So
don't like,
direct pay.
Yeah.
You prefer direct pay.
yeah, I don't like dealing with all the work that you don't get paid for. Like you have to write the estimate, take the pictures, email, and go back and forth, back and forth. I don't have time for that as a one-man band.
Yeah.
So your ideal
Ryan-
customer, who's your ideal?
Well, do you decline insurance work then?
I have.
Yeah.
With this hailstorm that went through Jamestown, I have a lot of clientele up there.
Yeah.
They've all reached out to me. And I said no.
Yeah.
And their feelings are hurt, but I don't want to deal with it. We had a hailstorm go through Xenia back in, what was that, 2010 or 2012. And we did a lot of work at the shop, Mormons. And, Dad was just pulling his hair out because the dent guys were fixing it. People were picking it up. Next thing you know, 6 months later, the dent guy pushed too hard and the paint cracked. So now you got water in it. Same instance with what was going on with yours.
Right.
And now we're stripping it, so.
down to the bare metal. We'll put pictures up.
But,
I mean, it went down to
it's
the
just
bare metal.
it's just a bad omen. Don't get me wrong. There's good PDR guys out there and
course.
they do awesome job. But sometimes you get a little carried away and you just, bend that too much and it cracks paint. And it don't take much for water to get under and start flaking.
And to be fair, it's not the insurance company's fault.
No, it's not.
And it's not, there's always going to be,
Is there a fault anywhere?
well, at the end of the day, the question is, do you want to get in the middle of it? And the answer is no.
No,
Right.
I don't.
Exactly.
Let the customer deal with their company and you do the work you do. And then,
I wish I had pictures, but I did a truck. The kid actually backed his Bobcat or forklift into the side of his truck. I put a fender and a door on it, fixed both of them. The hailstorm hit that truck, and everything I just fixed
Yeah.
was just beat up.
I got to admit, we had that hailstorm coming through after,
you
and
were
my truck
so
sits outside,
scared.
and they were projecting hail, and I'm like, son of a gun.
Yeah.
I had my truck painted, and I've got a camper that had also recently been painted, and I'm thinking the hail's just going to beat the tar out of these things, and God said, no thanks. We just steered it right around us. Pretty cool.
What's the kind of music that you play in the shop?
I got 95.3 oldies on.
Okay.
Usually the neighbors get upset because usually if I'm
Wow.
out
When you say neighbors, how close are your neighbors?
oh,
I mean, you got to turn it up to upset your neighbors. You're not.
well,
you're not
it
one on
echoes in
top of
that
the
new
other.
building. It echoes in that new building.
Oh, is that right?
I crank when I'm out in the shop working. I crank it up, and I mean it's like I zone everything out and just jam out, and
Just focus.
the dog's like over her ears, you know. Yeah, if you walk to my neighbor's house, which is probably a couple hundred yards away each way, because I live
Right.
out in the middle of nowhere,
Right.
you can still hear my music plain as day.
Do they call you guys and say, "Can you turn it down"?
No, they just know I'm out there working. You know,
They know you'll eventually turn it off.
Whenever I'm done.
What's a late night for you? How late do you stay up? Late night.
Probably 1 or 2. I've walked in the house.
Is that right? Danielle, what's your late night? Because you're driving sometimes are you over the road? Or are you local
I'm
driving?
local.
All right. So late night for you is what?
The latest night I've had recently, I didn't get home till 6 a.m.
Oh, well, that's an early night. Yeah. Or
Early
morning.
morning.
I started at 8 that night. It was supposed to be a quick, just little run, but on my way back, I actually broke down in Indiana and had to wait for a tow truck to come bring me truck and trailer all the way back. Oh. That was a rough one.
Yeah. Like I said, it's the towing world.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It is. Gosh, what else? We can do
What's
this
your
for
favorite
days.
date night now?
Date night. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Let's pretend it's Saturday night.
It's just spur of the moment.
Yeah,
man.
like
we don't
we-
really plan anything. I mean, she'll ask me what's on the calendar because I keep everything on my phone. I'll ask her, "Hey, you got anything going on?" If there's nothing going on, then we'll just kind of like, "Hey, you hungry or you want to go see a movie?" And then we'll just kind of spur of the moment. We don't.
I think our last
That's considered a date
Saturday together that we didn't have any like kids or anything, we actually sat and put that Tacoma together on the Saturday night.
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
Yeah, we got back from
That's
Lucasville
true.
trade days.
Lancaster.
and
We went to Lucasville. We went to
Yeah.
Lucasville trade days that day.
I was like, "What jobs you got to get done? Like, what's going on with this truck?" And he's like, "Well, I got to put this Tacoma together tomorrow." And
When
I
you
was
say
like,
put it together, what does that mean?
It
exactly?
hit a deer. I had all the parts painted. I told
got
the guy
it.
drop it
Put it
off
back
Friday
together.
night.
Just like
So
Legos.
literally putting it back
He was a
together.
contractor.
Yeah.
So I told him drop it off Friday after you get off work, and I would have it ready for you by Sunday.
Okay.
And so we got back Saturday late afternoon. I was like, "Oh, parts are painted. I got all the parts. Let's
Yeah.
we can build this truck."
Ta-da.
So Saturday night, within 3 hours or 4 hours, we had the truck built. I called the guy. I was like, "Your truck's done. I'll see you in the morning." And he's like, "No way." I'm like, "Yeah."
I'm sure he did say no way.
right. So he shows up. He carries his checkbook around. He literally spent probably an hour looking at that truck trying to find something.
Oh.
And I'm like, I'm not trying to be rude, but you're
Yeah.
not going to find nothing, dude.
See, not every
Yeah.
customer is as easy as me.
No. Well, all it took was your smile. I knew I wasn't going in because then I just sat down because you looked in like, "This looks fantastic." I mean,
Yeah.
I remember the words right out of your mouth. I mean,
Yep.
and I'm like, okay. So
But I can spot it a mile away too.
yeah.
Yeah, not everybody. Well, some people are just.
I gave you a stool so you could stand up on the roof and actually see that I actually performed a full job. I mean,
Yeah, that was easy, super easy.
Anything
What else do you want people to know?
Yeah, that's
what
what I was
else?
gonna ask.
Anything else where you could say, you know what? If I had one more thing to say to the whole wide world, it would be this. You're allowed to say no.
no, I don't. I mean, I'm an honest guy. I really
Yeah.
do good workmanship. I mean, if you got small projects or odd jobs,
Yes,
those are the ones I like.
it's so good.
Do you only paint? I've got kind of a weird question. Do you only paint automobiles?
No,
Do you do cabinets?
Yeah, I've
Can you
done.
spray
I've done a little bit of everything.
Okay.
I mean, there's,
Anything paint will stick to.
yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there's so much stuff out there to make things work.
Yeah.
I just did odd jobs. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the motorcycle parts, the John Deere parts. You
Yep.
see pictures. I mean, the farmer come down to me and said, "Can you paint these?" I'm like, "Yeah, what color green do you want them?" You know,
Yes.
and I just went to town. So I like the odd jobs. So, I'll dabble in the insurance world a little bit, but I don't.
It's a hard no. Just say no.
It's not my cup of tea.
There's no need.
Let the big body shops go fight the insurance company.
Amen. Agreed 100%.
Yeah,
Colorize it.
he feels.
Quality, timeliness, honesty.
Yeah.
If those are not
Friendly.
valuable to you, then call
Yeah.
somebody else.
Honesty and work ethic was probably
Yeah.
one of my biggest things. Dad always told me, be honest. You know, if you messed up, be honest, show it to them. If they want
Yep.
you to fix it, or fix it before you call them.
Right.
Just be honest.
Yep.
You know, hey, I need to order this extra part. It's going to be a couple more days. You don't try to cover it up or
No. Or make excuses.
make
or-
excuse. Yeah. I mean, it's just
So
be
much
honest.
more respectable to be honest. Yeah.
Makes it easy.
It is.
Well, for being a shy guy,
You did all right.
you do great. Yeah.
You did all right.
Yeah.
Appreciate
Danielle, I'm so glad you sat in. This is super fun.
Anything else you want us to know about him?
No, he's a good guy. He's pretty
He's the real
honest.
deal, isn't he?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, thanks, you guys. This
Put a
was
big
super
red
fun.
bow on it.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, like, subscribe, follow these guys, and we'll see you next week.
Have
Bye.
a great day.
Bye.
Yay!
So
job,
good.
guys. That was great.
hard. Man, that was brutal.
water.
You loved it. I think he talked
easy.
more this time than he has in any other episode.